Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Tanvi Taneja, coming up in the next 30 minutes. India sets out an ambitious roadmap for manufacturing semiconductors. Prime Minister Modi tells an international industry conference that when the chips are down globally, the world can bet on India. Prime Minister Narendra Modi addresses the second international conference on green hydrogen. Says the time for action is here and now. Foreign ministers of the US and the UK make a joint visit to Ukraine in a show of support, likely to hold talks on further easing the rules on firing Western weapons into Russia. And Kamala Harris puts Donald Trump on the back foot in a fiery TV debate that sets the tone for the US presidential elections in November. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated SEMICON India 2024 on Wednesday. The three-day event is being held at the India Expo Mart in Greater Noida in the northern Indian state of Uttar Pradesh. Shaping the semiconductor future is its theme. The conference will showcase India's semiconductor strategy and policy, which envisions making India a global hub for semiconductors. Addressing the event, Prime Minister Modi said that India's semiconductor sector is on the verge of a revolution with breakthrough advancements set to transform the industry.
भारत में सेमीकंडक्टर मैन्युफैक्चरिंग फैसिलिटी लगाने के लिए 50% सपोर्ट भारत सरकार दे रही है। इसमें राज्य सरकारें भी अपने स्तर पर और मदद कर रही है। भारत की नीतियों के कारण ही बहुत कम समय में 1.5 ट्रिलियन रुपीस से ज्यादा के इन्वेस्टमेंट इस क्षेत्र में भारत में हो चुके हैं।
The Indian Prime Minister spoke about the connection between democratic values and technology.
जब डेमोक्रेटिक वैल्यूज जुड़ जाती हैं तो टेक्नोलॉजी की पॉजिटिव एनर्जी बढ़ जाती है। वही अगर टेक्नोलॉजी से डेमोक्रेटिक वैल्यूज हट जाती है तो वही टेक्नोलॉजी घातक बनते देर नहीं लगती। इसलिए चाहे मोबाइल मैन्युफैक्चरिंग हो, इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स मैन्युफैक्चरिंग हो या सेमीकंडक्टर्स हो, हमारा फोकस एकदम क्लियर है। हम एक ऐसी दुनिया बनाना चाहते हैं जो संकट के समय भी रुके नहीं, ठहरे नहीं, निरंतर चलती रहे।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi toured an exhibition mounted at the venue. Also, Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath accompanied him. More than 800 exhibitors from 24 countries are taking part in this conference. The event will feature top executives from leading semiconductor companies and will unite international leaders, firms and experts from the industry. Addressing the event, India's Electronics and Information Technology Minister Ashwini Vaishnav highlighted the country's vision of becoming a semiconductor hub.
After many attempts, finally, it was under our Prime Minister's visionary leadership that we succeeded in getting the industry to our country. Within the first phase of our mission, in a very short time frame, 5 semiconductor units have been approved. Construction is rapidly under progress in the Micron unit, the Morigaon Tata unit, construction has started, and the other 3 units, construction will start very soon.
The minister spoke about a plan for gathering the right talent to achieve the same.
Talent development, friends, has been a key part of the Semiconductor India program. We have committed to develop a strong talent pool of 85,000 engineers and technicians in the next 10 years. And we have delivered on a promise. For this purpose, already 113 universities, academic institutions, and R&D organizations have been tied up where semiconductor-focused course curriculum is being taught, and the course curriculum has been designed by the industry participants, so that is very relevant to what the industry wants.
Top semiconductor CEOs expressed their appreciation after meeting Prime Minister Narendra Modi at the Semiconductor Executives Roundtable. CEOs appreciated India's commitment to the growth of the sector and said that what has transpired today is unprecedented, wherein leaders of the entire semiconductor sector have been brought under one roof.
Modi's leadership, things are so nice that the whole world is coming with me to this summit.
Really excited and delighted by Prime Minister Modi's vision, consistency, and foresight into what is needed from a semiconductor industry ecosystem development perspective for India.
We are really excited about the vision of the Prime Minister and how he's looking at the digital infrastructure for the future of our country and the Viksit Bharat, and the important role that semiconductors will play.
I think that what the Prime Minister is doing right now to elevate India on the global scale is what not only India needs, but what the world needs for India to be at the forefront.
It shows really a very strong commitment and dedication to make India a powerhouse in the area of semiconductor technology.
As you know, semiconductor is essential technology for all digital industries. And with Modi ji leadership, there is a big momentum, compared to 3 years ago.
In the last 2-3 years, the enthusiasm and the focus around the sector with clear strategy of how to and where to invest from design all the way to manufacturing. And right now, what I'm seeing, the interest is to go from a engineering center to create products and for both local and global consumption.
India has taken a huge step forward in the semiconductor industry, a lot of energy, a lot of progress.
The Prime Minister has shown an amazing vision in the semiconductor mission. No administration in the history of this country had the courage to create a right policy when it came to semiconductors.
DD India correspondent Dibyendu Mondal had an exclusive conversation with the President of India Electronics, President of Electronics and Semiconductor Association Ashok Chandak. He said that the government's semiconductor policies are friendly and provide ease of doing business.
Government policies have been very friendly, and there is also ease of doing business in a semiconductor and electronics, both from a central government predominantly and also some of the state government. And because of that, we already see a huge interest in expansion of semiconductor and electronics manufacturing in the country. The 5 projects, those have been approved so far for 1.5 lakh crore. They also come from the IESA, India Electronics Semiconductor Association member companies. And we see huge interest. A lot of Indian companies and Indian entrepreneurs, they are showing a strong interest to expand their foothold into this particular sector.
Battling climate change is the need of the hour, and green hydrogen plays a key role in it. India is hosting a 3-day international conference on green hydrogen. The event features plenary talks and panel discussions. DD India's Siddharth Bharadwaj reports.
The impacts of climate change can be seen in many parts of the world. It is a serious issue and needs immediate address. This is where green hydrogen comes into play. India is hosting the 2nd International Conference on Green Hydrogen from 11th to 13th of September this year. The conference will discuss at length the recent advances and upcoming technologies in the entire green hydrogen value chain. It will also bring together the global scientific and industrial community and will provide business-to-business opportunities across several energy platforms. In his address, Prime Minister Narendra Modi emphasized the importance of green hydrogen and its use in providing a sustainable environment.
Green hydrogen is emerging as a promising addition to the world's energy landscape.
PM Modi also talked about India's National Green Hydrogen Mission, which aims to make India a global hub for production and export of green hydrogen.
India has already launched the National Green Hydrogen Mission in 2023. We want to make India a global hub for the production, utilization, and export of green hydrogen.
Some of the expected outcomes of the mission are 5 million metric tons per annum of green hydrogen production by 2030, 125 gigawatt renewable energy capacity for green hydrogen production, 600,000 new green jobs, 60 to 100 gigawatt electrolyzer installations, around 8 lakh crore investments, and 50 MMT of carbon emission abatement annually by 2030. On the first day of the conference, the industry players are praising India's efforts on to make a quick transition from fossil fuels to clean and green energy. They are also excited about the conference.
It is really amazing to be here. I think it is really a wonderful effort.
Great platform for all of us to connect together.
B2B, it's a good opportunity for us and for everyone.
The second international conference on green hydrogen aligns with India's climate promise of becoming net zero by 2070.
This is the second international conference on green hydrogen organized by India, wherein there are around 7,000 delegates expected to participate. Well, the discussions will be on the production of green hydrogen and also the export of green hydrogen, aligning with India's climate promise of becoming net zero by 2070. With camera person SP Dubey, this is Siddharth Bhardwaj reporting for DD India in New Delhi.
And next we take a look at other stories making news from across the world. Upon his arrival to Singapore on Wednesday, Pope Francis was accorded a warm welcome by the devotees outside the airport. He was also greeted by children donning traditional costumes, welcoming him in 4 different official languages of the country. This is the last leg of the Pope's 12-day trip to Asian countries. Dresden's Carola Bridge in Germany collapsed into River Elbe on Wednesday, damaging about a 100-meter-long section. While other parts of the bridge remain in acute danger of collapsing, police find no evidence of criminal or terror act. According to the fire brigade, the section has fallen into Elbe River and is blocking the river channel. In one of the largest drug raids recorded so far, the Spanish police seized ecstasy pills, pink cocaine, ketamine and other drugs in large quantities from Ibiza. 9 people, including Italian nationals, were arrested during the raid. Still to come on this edition of DD India Live. Mexico becomes the first country to approve election of judges through popular vote. And Germany is to start controlling all its land borders from next week to curb illegal migration. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Tanvi Taneja. On to the US presidential race now. US Vice President Kamala Harris addressed supporters in Philadelphia after the televised debate with Donald Trump ahead of the November 5th election. Harris said it was a good day, but reminded the crowd that 56 days remain until the election, emphasizing that there's still a lot of work to do. Joined by her husband, Douglas Emhoff, Harris thanked attendees for their efforts and stressed the importance of winning Pennsylvania, a key swing state that President Joe Biden carried in 2020.
I said on the debate stage, we are not going back. We are not going back. And so we know what we're fighting for. We know what we stand for. And that's why we know what we're fighting for. We're fighting for the dignity of all people. We're fighting for the dignity of work. We are fighting for middle-class families. And so we've got some work to do because, listen, I think that we think today was a good day, and it kind of was. But we have 56 days to go, and guys, we're still the underdogs in this race. It's tight. We have got to win Pennsylvania, and we are going to win Pennsylvania.
In his reaction, Donald Trump told journalists afterwards that it had been his best debate.
All I do is say the truth. I say the truth. If I lose votes or gain votes, I don't care. But this was my best debate.
Marking the 23rd anniversary of the September 9/11 attack, a U.S. flag was unfurled on the side of the Pentagon with the national anthem sung by military personnel and civilians. Donald Trump and Kamala Harris shook hands in a show of unity at a September 11th memorial event in New York on Wednesday. We also see Joe Biden attending the event. September 11 marks the Black Day in the history of United States of America, during which commercial airliners crashed into the New York World Trade Center Twin Towers, the Pentagon. Nearly 3,000 people were killed, including more than 2,600 at the World Trade Center, 125 at the Pentagon, and 265 on the 4 planes. The day is a stark reminder of the horrors of terrorism worldwide. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken and UK Foreign Secretary David Lammy jointly visited Ukraine on Wednesday for a series of meetings with Ukrainian officials. Blinken said that he wants to directly hear from Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky and others about Kiev's goals and what the US can do to help it achieve them. Russia has escalated its drone and missile attacks on Ukraine in recent weeks, while Ukraine has sent hundreds of long-range attack drones deep into Russian territory. The Kremlin on Wednesday said that Russia would roll out what it called an appropriate response if the United States allowed Ukraine to strike deep inside Russia with long-range missiles, a decision Moscow suspects has already been taken. The Kremlin spokesperson, Dmitry Peskov, told journalists that it looked like the US had already decided to allow Ukraine to use the weapons for long-range strikes inside Russia. Moscow would have an appropriate response if that happened, he said, but added that there is no need to expect some kind of response everywhere. France's Prime Minister designate Michel Barnier said on Wednesday that he will form his new government next week, potentially capping a period of political uncertainty ahead of a likely fight over the 2025 budget. Barnier said that he would defend some of President Emmanuel Macron's key policies and toughen the government's stand on immigration. His government will be tasked with steering the reforms and the budget through a hung parliament amid pressure from the European Commission and bond markets for France to reduce its deficit. On to West Asia now. Israel's medical department said that one Israeli was critically wounded when a fuel tanker rammed into a bus stop near Givat Asaf settlement in the West Bank region on Wednesday. According to an Israeli army statement, the suspect driving the vehicle was shot and neutralized by security forces at the scene. Violence and clashes with Israeli forces in the West Bank have escalated since the Gaza conflict. And on to Mexico now. In a first, the country's Senate voted early Wednesday to overhaul the country's judiciary, clearing the biggest hurdle for a controversial constitutional revision that will make all judges stand for election. The vote came after hundreds of protesters pushed their way into the Senate on Tuesday, interrupting the session after it appeared that Morena had lined up the necessary votes to pass the proposal. More in our next report. Mexico scripts history. The country's Senate approved a sweeping judicial reform early on Wednesday that will overhaul the country's judiciary by electing judges by popular vote. The constitutional reform, passed with 86 votes in favor and 41 against, secured two-thirds majority needed in the Senate, which is predominantly controlled by the ruling Morena party and its allies.
A total of 127 votes, with 86 votes in favor, 41 votes against, 0 abstentions.
The approval followed tense debate and high political drama as the ruling coalition began Tuesday one seat short of the supermajority needed to pass the constitutional reform. But an opposition lawmaker broke party ranks to vote in favor of the bill, while another was absent amid allegations that he had been detained to stop him voting. The reform introduces the popular election of over 6,500 judges, magistrates and ministers, including members of Mexico's Supreme Court. It also proposes reducing the Supreme Court's size from 11 to 9 justices, shortening their terms to 12 years and lowering the required work experience from 10 years to 5 years. The judges will also be able to work anonymously on cases involving organized crime. It would also scrap some benefits for judicial workers and create a 5-person disciplinary tribunal. The reform has sparked significant controversy, both domestically and internationally. Protesters disrupted the Mexican Senate, forcing lawmakers to continue their discussions at an alternative location.
They are betraying the people, selling their votes shamefully for this reform to be approved. It is going to lead us to a dictatorship.
Internationally, Mexico's key trading partners, the United States and Canada, have expressed concerns that the changes could jeopardize the North American trade agreement and negatively affect investment. Bureau Report, DD India. Germany is to start controlling all its land borders from next week. The country's Interior Minister Nancy Faeser made the decision as the government faces mounting pressure to adopt a tougher stance on illegal migration.
For us, it is important that those who arrive at Germany's land borders and who have already arrived through other countries and have applied for asylum there, that we can quickly turn them back in future close to the border, where they are also accommodated. That is something we have presented today. We want people whose asylum procedure is the responsibility of another EU country to be sent back there.
Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian visited Iraq on Wednesday. The 3-day visit included signing of various agreements. The visit signals the clerical establishment's intention to strengthen ties with a strategic ally of both Tehran and Washington as regional tensions rise. Pezeshkian met Iraqi President Abdul Latif Rashid and Prime Minister Mohammad Shia al-Sudani. The meeting included discussions on the Gaza conflict. The Dubai Artificial Intelligence and Web3 Festival kicked off on Wednesday at Madinat Jumeirah, Dubai. The event attracted an impressive crowd of 6,000 participants from 100 countries. The event aims to highlight Dubai's pivotal role in advancing the global and digital economy and AI applications. The festival explores the commercial and economic potential of AI and its contribution to sustainable development.
We are here to showcase the virtual reality and augmented reality solutions along with the metaverse solutions, which is a new technology in market. So we have been experiences with this technology, which is virtual reality and augmented reality, wherein people are using this technology in India as well as in Dubai. So we have seen the growth in the market as Dubai is growing themselves in this industry.
In hockey, India continues its winning streak as it beats Malaysia 8-1 in the third game of the Men's Asian Champions Trophy in China. Rajkumar Pal scored a hat-trick while Arijit Singh Hyundai netted a brace to help India secure an emphatic win and enter the semi-finals. Rajkumar scored once each in the first 3 quarters. Hyundai found the net in the first and the third quarters. Jugraj Singh and Harmanpreet Singh also got into the score sheet from the penalty corners. Uttam Singh grabbed India's eighth and final goal. India had been dominant in the tournament, scoring 16 goals, conceding only 2. So with that, it's a wrap in this edition of DD India Live. Do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. Connect with us on our different social media platforms, Facebook, X, formerly Twitter and Instagram. And you can also download our DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Tanvi Taneja from our entire team here in New Delhi. Thank you for watching. Namaskar.